don't know, live a clean life, believing in God, know that He's there, watching, hoping, helping, believe in something.
There's Murphy. There's Murphy coming to see you.
Hello, little. Hello. Hello. You look like Gracie.
So how?
Okay, you guys are gonna
Lift this. Lift up.
ready?
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Hi, Sean.
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Can't complain. Happy Thanksgiving, pal.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good.
That's Sean. He's got a beard. That's why you don't recognize him.
Yeah. Growing it out.
She was only 19, I think, when I was born. So you almost might say we're very close.
Nanny Frida had one son. She's got 5 grandchildren, and she's got 14 great-grandchildren. Very healthy, aware person who has lived just a solid, giving life, and who really understands life for herself and others.
Friendly. She likes, she likes. It takes a while sometimes for her to open up to strangers.
Not many people around.
No.
They're all eating probably by now. I don't have any appetite anymore. But I'm looking forward to that red cabbage. I'll eat today.
My mom called. It's really There's Kate. Hey, oh, you look so surprised. Thanks. How was your Thanksgiving? Or was it?
It's funny, at her age, you would think that she would be losing her thinking capacity. But we were there with one of my younger daughters sitting on her bed while she sat in the chair in the nursing home when she was about 101, going on 102. And we were chatting about things that were going on. And she said to our youngest daughter, with her finger pointing out, she said, that Justin Bieber is way out of control right now, and I don't like his haircut. She's always kept up on culture, even though it's she comes from a whole different time.
Her biggest hobby, and I guess probably her only hobby, is knitting. Oh, a lot of Afghans, and she knit little sweaters. Well, sweaters for me, my father, grown-ups, but in later years, she's knitting a lot of little things for little kids, babies, like that.
A lot of girlfriends every afternoon, get our housework done and come out on a golf course. I belong to a golf club and we went to different ones all around. Had a good time.
She played golf when women didn't really play much golf, really early, back into the 50s. And she did it really to enjoy the company of her husband. My grandfather was an avid golfer, and they would play golf together.
Well, I forget when it was, during the 1917, 18, somewheres in there was a big flu epidemic across the country. And both her father and her little sister got it, and they passed away from it.
Her husband his name was Otto, and we came to call him Mimi because I struggled with the word grandfather as a child, and somehow the word Mimi came out, and he became called Mimi Otto. They had a wonderful relationship. He was an immigrant, came across in 1922, and she had already been there, and he connected with her mother, who was part of a little community of people from their hometown. And because of that, met my grandmother. That's the only person my grandmother ever dated and who my grandfather ever dated. That was it. And they were married when she was 19 years old. Mimi Otto had brain cancer, and he was hospitalized at Ellis Hospital. He had a long sickness. We knew he was very sick, and I was the one who was with him when he died. We were just talking in the hospital. My grandmother had gone with my father to get dinner, and he was speaking to me and had an episode, and I called the nurses, and they came in, and they ushered me out, and within several minutes told me that he was gone. And within minutes after that, my grandmother came to the hospital, and I met her at the door, and I told her, and she put her hand to her mouth and cried, but it was a quick cry. And then she went over and just sat with him and put her hand on his hand and stroked his arm and his head and commented he was still warm, and then didn't say anything else to him other than to study him. And then we left. After my grandfather died, there was not a dramatic change in her, although the independence that we didn't really think that she had, because it seemed like she was so dependent on my grandfather, an independence in her shone through, taking care of her own household, asking for absolutely nothing from anyone. Whenever we would visit, even if she didn't know we were coming, it seemed that she did know, because she always had cookies on a plate that she would put out for us.
You know what these are? Pepper nuts.
Yeah,
Pfeffer nuts.
I remember
There's
those.
a little bit of pepper in there.
yeah.
They're good. And that's Lebkuchen.
Cooking is a way of expressing love, and she would put all her energy and care into her cooking. Without recipes, of course, just a pinch of this and a little bit of that.
I cooked everything. I didn't stick to a different country or this or that or Italian food or that. I cooked whatever we felt like eating.
She lived in a townhouse by herself until she was 98 years old. She would mow her own lawn, and to mow her lawn she would put on her golf cleats because it had a steep hill in the back, and she would use her golf cleats to give her traction and stability when she mowed her lawn. She would have continued to live on her own, except she had a fall one night and broke her hip, and she laid outside for hours calling out until somebody taking their garbage down heard her and came over and called 911. Not a day in her life have I heard her complain about being alone or lonely or not having people come around. She just seems to understand life.
And I keep busy, that's all. That's it. Is that the show now?